Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are, guys. I hope you guys had a great week of trading. So yeah, welcome back. First of all, thank you for everyone that have been watching my live streams. Thank you for everyone that has been subscribing and liking the streams. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. I'll be creating more and more content as well. That's the main goal. And yeah, I'm here to help if you find it helpful, whatever I'm sharing with you guys. My analysis, my views, the way I look at the market, my strategy, and so on. So yeah. Today's live stream again is the weekly analysis, so it's preparation for the week ahead. I'll be looking at the mostly higher time frame analysis, covering the major FX pairs, dollar index as well. If you guys have any questions, if you like to take a look at any specific pair, feel free to ask in the comments. And if you have any questions, even if you are not watching it live, feel free to comment below and I will take a look, and most likely I'll answer it on the next time I'm going live. So I've been going live on Saturdays and Tuesdays. Saturdays is for the weekly analysis, what I'm going to do today, and on Tuesdays is more price action analysis. Like it doesn't need to be related to what the market is doing right now. It's more of a educational content, some topics that maybe you guys would like me to cover, and I will do that. If you guys have any analysis that you have made on your chart, any trades that you have taken, and you like me to give my feedback, that's the purpose of that live stream, is for me to just give you my feedback, try to help you, and even maybe learn something as well from you, from the way you are looking at the market, from your perspective. Yeah, helping and getting helped. That's the purpose. So yeah, aside from that, I would like to thank you, Lizzie. I haven't replied to you yet to your comments, but you made me smile yesterday when I read your comments. Thank you so much for your warm words. Yeah, thank you. If you are getting any beneficial from my videos and from the way I look at it, and the way I look at market, thank you. Those comments are one of the reasons why we do this, at least why I do this, and exactly for that. So thank you. So let's start where we were last week. What happened? There's been a busy week. These last 2 weeks have been busy, so we had loads of interest rate decisions. We started 2 weeks ago with the ECB, and then the press conference, and then last Friday, not this Friday but the previous one, on the 10th of June, we had the CPI number that came out worse than everyone was expecting, or at least that the analysts and the Fed was expecting. Which show that we are not at the top still, at least in USA, of the inflation. That forced basically the Fed to be more aggressive, be more hawkish on their decision last Wednesday, when we had the FOMC meetings. So everyone initially was expecting a 50 basis points, but as soon as the CPI numbers came out, basically the market shift and they start predicting the 75 basis points, which is exactly what they did, what Mr. Paul did, and that's it. So we could see a big move in the markets, more volatility. We could see dollar index going all the way down. Maybe I can bring that one first. 1 second. Yeah, maybe I can bring this one first. So we did had that strong move to the downside on dollar index on Wednesday in the evening, and then aside from that, last Thursday we did have the Bank of England as well continuing their hiking program of 25 basis points, and the surprise to surprises was the SNB, the Swiss National Bank, that actually hiked by 50 basis points, so from minus 75 basis points to minus 25. And actually, if I go back to that level, let me just show you the big drop on the franc Swiss. As you can see, franc Swiss did drop quite nicely after that news came out in here. So this big move to the downside, that's exactly what happened yesterday, not yesterday, but Thursday morning. And this was the move from the the move from the Fed. Yeah, there was actually, we did talk about franc Swiss on my last live stream last Tuesday. Price was still around, price I think had just broken this highs in here. Price was somewhere around here on the 14th of June, to somewhere in here, getting really close to this level. Yeah, price was getting really close in here to this level. I did got short somewhere in here by the end of that session when I saw the spike, and then I kind of catch the move until here and I close it. But I'll talk a little bit more of the dollar franc Swiss, because similarly to what happened on euro dollar last week during the ECB press conference, there was kind of an information, or there was some clues that we could see that most likely dollar would go short, would go down, when we had during the FOMC meeting. So if we paid attention to my last live stream, where I went a little bit into detail of the price action that you had and the clues that you had that maybe euro was about to go down and short, during the ECB press conference, there was some kind of similar price action information on the dollar franc Swiss. It was actually the pair that actually gave me the clue that I could see price going down on dollar. Yeah, I'll go into detail in that moment. So yeah, so SNB hike it, price moved down, and the only central bank that is not doing anything by now is the Japanese yen. It's still remaining everything the same. The market was expecting for this Bank of Japan to do something, to act, because yeah, the weakness on the yen is getting decreasing and increasing. So yeah, but nothing happened. So it remains the same. So most likely we are going to continue to see that move to the upside. We could see that this big spike in here, this big spike was exactly yesterday night during the exchange session. We see our price, first of all, a beautiful price moves. When you have these spikes, it usually goes exactly to the extremes. You see, it just came all the way down, just collect this demand that was in here, goes to this key amp zone in here, and there you go, you are free to go. So if you want actually to study usually good zones that usually price reacts from, just actually study usually during these news events where the spikes go to. That's a really nice zone to understand where usually the orders are. So yeah. So let's go to dollar index. Enough with these fundamentals. So yeah, let's start looking at the charts. 1 second. So here we are. So dollar index. Right, so we kind of opened the week last week somewhere in here. I mentioned that I kind of had possible 1 or 2 zones. Maybe I was still looking somewhere inside here. It did react. It's still some from there on the more time frame. At around this size, there was some reaction in there. I think on Monday, something like that. You see, there is some reaction in here, but price indeed never broke, never made an ending move to the downside. So if you don't have those engulfs to the downside and approach to a zone that you want to trade, just be cautious. Maybe this is not the zone to look for the reversal, and the kind of the opposite. Maybe price is going to react from there on the other side, and basically that's exactly what happened with these lows in here. Price basically ignored the zone, price comes back and then retests the level that initially could be a good zone to look for the short, become a really good zone, maybe look for the long. So yeah, aside from that, we kind of then broke this high finally. Went a little bit higher, still respected, went higher, and we did break this low in this moment in here. So we did break this low. This was a little bit, I think, during the FOMC. So it's all about as well, where is this high reacting from on the left side? Is this low reacting from an important zone or not? If it isn't, there's maybe still a little bit more room to the upside. If it is reacting from a good zone, maybe you could see price going a little bit down. And mostly whatever is going to happen somewhere in here on the index, it may have a really nice impact. For sure it's going to have some impact on whatever is going to happen on the other FX major pairs, because they are all reacting at the moment from quite a similar zone. So at the moment you are reacting from this supply zone. After this big move down, price is indeed reacting from there. Did we react from the kind of base of this, or is there still a little bit space, which means that maybe price wants to go further down? It's going to be interesting to see if this zone is going to hold price down, and if that happened, I could see maybe the beginning of a reversal on the dollar index for the near term, maybe next couple of weeks, if this area actually managed to hold price. Because usually even it's around this big decision, right? Big news events that usually you see that trend starting. So kind of at least for a month, maybe we can see price kind of creating a new trend, a new cycle for a full month, going maybe all the way down until maybe the next decision, right? That maybe price will resume then the move to the upside. In terms of the Fed, actually the Fed meeting, so as we noticed, everything is it has been worse. The predictions that have been made have been downgraded, because everything they've predicted is not exactly correct in terms of the level of inflation that we're expecting, GDP, and so on. And basically Paul was kind of nervous, and you could feel kind of the little bit of the stress and fear on his voice when he was doing the press conference. And he's not sure how big is going to be the next hike, 50 basis points or 75. So basically what he said is that he's going to be paying attention to the indicators that are coming out from the data that is coming out throughout the next month, to then maybe make a decision if it is 50 basis points or 75. So whenever we have those big news events again during this next month, I expect some volatility during that period. At the moment, let's see if price actually managed to hold these ones. I'm not the biggest fan of price kind of creating a supply going all the way down like he did, like in this really strong move to the downside, and coming all the way back straight away, and respecting the supply maybe after that going down. I prefer to see some liquidity being created somewhere close to the supply level that I actually want to look for the trade. Even I think I mentioned that on one of the videos that I did about the 3 or 4 ways to trade support and resistance with liquidity or something like that. Don't really remember now the title of the video, but it was something like that, right? Like one of the scenarios it was exactly, we have a supply, price comes retraces all the way back and then just continues, which is one that I don't really like to, and it maybe that's the most common one that everyone looks for and uses. I would rather see a supply being created, price going all the way down, price kind of either start compressing, maybe creating some highs in there, and then maybe pretending that it's going down, and maybe yes, then maybe kind of spike at least this middle high in here and take the order from there and maybe go down from there. And I don't think we even have this kind of middle high created in there on this move up. Let me just go to the war time frame, because I don't really think we have that. Yeah, basically just compressed a little bit from here, but after that it's just straight move to the supply level. So I don't know if this is enough to fill all the orders that you want for price to move down. I don't know if there's still orders maybe somewhere a little bit above in here. That's a possibility. Yeah, maybe that's a possibility in there on the lower time frame. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, if we did that, this supply was obvious, expecting some reaction from there. But if this is the level that now is going to carry on and push price all the way to the downside, we need to take a look and see what's going to happen in there. Yeah, there's this zone in here reacted from where it should. Maybe, but before we do that, unfortunately, I don't have that much data to look on the website, so I think the minimum time frame, the worst time frame that I can go to see where price is reacting to on the website is on the daily, because we are reacting from the levels of 2000s, so basically 20 or 22 years ago. So if I go all the way to the left side to see somehow where price is reacting from, the index is reacting from, so we were 105 something. So I need to push price all the way. Let me just remove this one. Mm, 2005, 2004. Come on. Now we are here again, 2002. All right, so this is where we are. Somewhere in here. So this is where we are in here. 5 something. It's this one. So basically, from this kind of supply zone in here, this may be interesting, and that actually maybe was a good zone to react from. This does make some sense if you are reacting from here. At least to have some reaction. Don't forget we are on the daily time frame in here. Aside from that, we do have this double top in here, so I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we do kind of fake out these levels in here. But I think I've mentioned that before. My favorite zone is actually even a bit above this this high of 109. 820. So in the long term, I would really like to see this this high being faked out and price maybe to react somewhere close to this low in here, and maybe this kind of level of supply that a decision point that was created in here that pushed price down, because I'm not sure if this high actually touched that zone. So that's actually a zone in the end around 110 that maybe I'll be looking for in the long term for a possible major sell. Aside from that, this looks a little bit compressed. We did have this key M in here. Yeah, maybe a little bit, and maybe to the extreme if this zone, after this zone is kind of price react from there, goes somewhere, price reacts from there, goes down, does whatever it needs to do, and then eventually still carry on to the upside, and maybe eventually it's going to go there. But this is how higher time frame levels, so this may take a lot of time for price to either get there, or after when it gets there, you may find a really good zone to look for a major reversal. Even if you look at the weekly, right, maybe on the weekly it looks a little bit better. What I meant, like this spike in here, this high, everyone is looking for this high, is going to be looking for this high. We do have still this supply zone in there that I mentioned, just above this double top, visible on the daily. It's now still aligned as well with this low in here. So yeah, this one in here may be interesting as well to look for a possible sell in there. And at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, we are 105 something. We are reacting from here. Looking at this, and just by looking at this, I could see price going a little bit higher. I don't really see anything special where price has been reacting from right now, those highs. Maybe to have some reaction on the lower time frame, but as a bigger level, I wouldn't be looking personally for the sell where price is. Maybe I read here, maybe this one, and in the end, I will definitely try to look something inside this level in here, just above this high. Wait for the fake out, and maybe use in the future this high for a left shoulder, as a left shoulder to look for the trade. So yeah, basically that's what I would be looking for instead. Yeah, somewhere in there. But let's see now if this level actually respects it or not. So I could see price going higher. Usually I don't draw this kind of trend channels or whatever, these trend lines, but maybe you can start drawing something like that even from here. Even if I connect this one in here. Something is happening as well. Let's see. This will indeed get really close to this zone in here. Didn't really touch it. So curious to see how price is going to behave. This low that I've been mentioning before, I did see this zone, this demand zone in here, that I was kind of I can still see price in the future maybe getting a little bit closer to this demand zone, and this maybe it's going to be a good zone to look for longs now that we have this low to be used as fake out level. So that can be something interesting to look for in the future. Something that I like to see, kind of price pausing and stopping just close to actually to the demand zone, which is maybe somewhere in there. So yeah, this can be something to be used as a trap to attract liquidity, to attract buyers, just for price to then go a little bit underneath, take these orders. We'll see until where price goes in the future. But yeah, this could be a good zone now to look for longs in the future, whenever price is coming down here. Yeah, overall, let's see the impact that these 75 basis points will have on dollar index as well. We'll see. Euro is going to be starting to increase interest rate during the next meeting. I don't know if it is July or beginning of August. Don't remember now when it's going to be the next ECB press conference, ECB meeting. But yeah, so we'll see if the supply survives or not. In there, we may have still this zone a little bit above. Interesting to see. Let's see how it's going to behave. For now, we then still have this demand in here on our time frame. Let's see if price is going to continue to move to the upside in the opening, or if it is going to move to the downside. We kind of maybe breaks demand, so this can be a signal as well. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen in here on dollar index. It's reacting from this important supply zone, so let's see. So let's take a look now at the euro dollar. Actually, I could just take a quick look of the indices. It's something that I've been looking at as well. I don't really cover too much indices on the channel. If you would like to cover me to take a look more of the S&P and Nasdaq, feel free to let me know. And so again, going all the way down. Yeah, since we did kind of broke this low, since this low happened that I was looking for, that move to downside, kind of this kind of was a trigger that I could see price moving all the way down from here. Not just a break of these ones. Price could actually easily add respect to this demand and go higher, but now price actually decided to go all the way down, break out this zone, and this actually opened the door for all this compression. Actually to go all the way down. In here. Now kind of we are within this compression now as well, so maybe this low instead. So I could see price going all the way and eventually maybe respecting this high that was created during COVID. Maybe that's a zone that everyone is looking at. Let's see. I definitely still see more move to the downside on the indices. There can be some bounce in between, but I'm bearish. I'm bearish. Been bearish for quite a while, since the beginning of the year, mostly. And actually, it's interesting if you want to pay attention to price action for price action for reversal patterns. It's really interesting to actually analyze what happened around these highs in here, somewhere in here, and then take a look at actually what Nasdaq did in there as well. Because in this case we did have an extra higher high on the S&P, comparing with what we had on Nasdaq. Come on, dudes. Comparing with what we had on Nasdaq. It's basically as well, check if these orders have been taken or not, and look for that liquidity. If these orders are being taken already, maybe expect that extra fake out. Otherwise, maybe price doesn't need to really break new highs and just respect this one in here. And then, as you can see, basically you can even correct the orders from here for the future. So as you can see, we did have this extra higher high created on the Nasdaq, and if you take a look at on the S&P, sorry, and if you take a look at Nasdaq, we didn't, right? So the higher high on Nasdaq was on the 19th of November, something like that, and on the S&P it was in January, basically when these highs were created. This one's in here. Can you see how the liquidity? Can you see that this origin is still fresh in here? So kind of no need for a new higher high. While on S&P, all these orders have been collected. So we do have that fake out, and then price basically comes out the way. Where this side is reacting from on S&P, it came all the way to collect the orders from the left shoulder, and price is free to go down. Yeah. On the Nasdaq, actually we are reacting from this nicely demand on the weekly and monthly time frame. However, yeah, I'm still kind of bearish, expecting price to go further down in the future. I think the next 6 to 12 months are not going to be pretty, especially the next 6 months. Maybe then it's going to start showing some reversals. But mass media is going to still be in a fear mode. Yeah, so that's what we want to start predicting, is when actually we are identifying these reversal patterns even to the downside, or then eventually reversal patterns to the upside, when the media are not even paying attention to it, right? Kind of the media officially said that we are in a bearish market somewhere in here after all this moves to downside. And basically, maybe in July, it's when it's going to finally say that we are in a recession mode officially, because it's going to be the second consecutive quarter with a negative GDP. I think you can see that we already are in that stage. So yeah, I definitely can see more moves downside. However, there was a nice actually long setup in there on the lower time frame in here. Since now we are reacting from that higher time frame demand zone, I think you can see the setup. You can see it in here, and basically we have these highs in here. Yeah, they are broken to the upside. Then we kind of create this zone of demand in here, kind of where price reacts from, but we do have this origin that is still fresh in here aligned with this left shoulder. So it's nice for price to go break these highs in here on the left side, first respect this demand, goes higher, creates new highs, and then yes, maybe even pretend that this demand is still being respected, but we do have this price aligned with this left shoulder and this demand. So this is a great zone to look for the entry. And that's it. So this is one of my favorite price action patterns to look for entries. It's exactly like this. Let the demand being created, let the demand being respected, let price create new highs, be patient, and then just pay attention to when price reacts to this level. Look for your entry execution somewhere in here after price does react from this level. Or at least take the low from this demand zone. Yeah. In a bearish market, we can still find opportunities to go and look for counter trend setups. Just be cautious with your target. Don't be too aggressive with them. Be maybe conservative. So yeah, Oh, let's finally take a look at the major FX pairs. Second. So we are in here now. Euro dollar. So euro dollar has been my kind of my nightmare. It's been playing with me with this low that I've been saying that I would like to see being broken before any major turn to the upside. So I mean, this low from 2016-17, that dollar index has already broken to the upside. Euro hasn't done that. It came once here. I did mention this level. If you guys paid attention to my last live streams, I did mention that around underneath this level, underneath this zone in here, somewhere in here, it would be a nice zone. Could be a nice zone to look for longs, and that I actually personally would be looking for those longs into this area, because it's again even just similar to what I just mentioned on Nasdaq, but in a way bigger scale. We have this double top in here, double bottom in here, price still reacting from there, and we have this demand, this origin that is still fresh. So this could be a good zone to look for longs. However, I did mention that until I actually see this low has been broken, I wouldn't be looking for the longs, and indeed I didn't. When maybe I should, because we did have price action on approach. So this is what you could see happening, right? So this actually was one of the clues. This happened exactly, yeah, this happened in the morning of the FOMC meeting. During the London session, we saw that price went all the way up. It broke these highs, and that for me was kind of a signal. Okay, breaking these highs kind of shows an engulf to the upside for me. That was a trigger that I identified. So yeah, I can even show 1 second. Show what I did before, because I did pay attention to it beforehand. Let me just show you the picture. Where is it? Yeah. So this is actually what I paid attention to just before the FOMC. So I did notice that price had indeed broken this size, and this was kind of an engulf to the upside. And as I mentioned before, I did for this possible zone as a long, but yeah, what I would actually like to see, and what I would have traded, is to be moved down, fake out properly these lows, and then yes, and go higher, and that's what I wanted. So I ignored anything that happened inside here before that break of the low. My mistake, my bad. It is what it is, and because I was not looking for those longs on EURUSD, actually then just start looking for something else on other pairs. Yeah, there were some good opportunities as well. But in terms of EURUSD, this is actually one of my favorite price action patterns as well, in order to look for those reversals. Second, yeah, I can go back to where I was. Yeah, so we do have this one, so we do have that engulf, we have the fake out. So usually when you see this engulf happening, it doesn't mean that price is going to just respect the next demand zone and go higher. So it doesn't mean that price is going to react from here, from where price is coming from, and go higher. You need to be aware where these lows are reacting from, and where, if you have still this one in here to price to be collect the orders, right? And that's exactly what happened during the news. Price just spiked there. It basically took the orders from this left shoulder, and yeah, and there you go. Price reacted from there, and it went to the upside. Yeah, after that, if you even want to wait for more confirmation, then this is during the FOMC. Price then the next day came all the way back, and there you go, another pattern, another zone. And this could have been actually my favorite to look for the longs. Again, I didn't look for the long in there because I still wanted to see that one being taken. But yeah, this is a proper Quasimodo level. Maybe on the 15 or 5 minutes you can see it better. Yeah, can you see? We have this left shoulder in here. Price went up. Price fake out. Price went higher. it broke out these levels of structure. It didn't really it got close. Indeed, it got close to those highs, not really reacting from there. Price went all the way down, and if you even want to wait for another confirmation after the break of this highs, you can start looking for those longs at around this level. So yeah, there were plenty of price action confirmations that I completely ignored. So yeah, this is a beautiful kind of pattern. At it, and you'll see the price doing something similar anytime it's about to reverse. After that, strong move to the upside, and similarly to where dollar index is now, whilst dollar index is reacting from that supply that I mentioned, kind of euro dollar is reacting from these demands. Right, it just touched this demand zone, and there's the potential that price may want to go higher from here. This high in here, just by looking at this time frame, it didn't really reacted from this zone, so it reversed before that, which kind of shows that can be a possible still space for price to move higher from here. Again, it's going to be interesting to see if this actually, you can see on dollar, it's actually a little bit different, because we do break kind of these highs in the middle. There's the potential that price may already wants to go higher from here. We'll see. We'll see if this zone actually, for now it's being respected, but if he actually holds price, there's maybe some level of demand still underneath that. And I do then like this level that I mentioned that I missed the short last week. After catching the sell from here, I didn't then miss the short in here because price never really spiked and fake out into this supply zone. And that's a zone that I will be looking for, and on a higher time frame it looks like it's kind of relevant in here. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if price is going to, if euro dollar is going to kind of continue now into one direction, or if by any chance is going to now kind of range in between these levels. There may be some good opportunities within these levels. Maybe look for those supply demands that are going to be left fresh behind, and maybe are going to be ranging in between these. Or on the other hand, if you're actually going to resume either now the move to the upside, or if we are finally breaking these walls that I've been talking about. So yeah, these walls have been playing tricks with me, and let's see. I'm still cautious with that. I'm still waiting for those walls to be broken. But yeah, let's see if eventually we do break them or not. If we range now, if we start ranging in between these levels, or if you're going to resume maybe the move to the upside, or if euro is finally ready to go to the downside. Higher time frame, as I mentioned quite a few times in my previous live streams, I could see euro even going further down. I kind of expect more kind of these lows to be broken, price to continue a little bit further down, maybe somewhere in here, and I even mentioned even below these lows. It would be my favorite zone. I would actually like to see these lows being taken around the same time that dollar index would react from those from that 110 level. I see that euro is way too far behind that level comparing with dollar index, so let's see what's going to happen in there. But yeah, let's see. We basically finished the week in this big doji candle, kind of indecision level. Went up, down, and basically closed at the same zone that we opened it. Looking at the weekly, and we have been kind of, yeah, in this bearish candle. We did had this bullish candle in there after reacting from here, and now we kind of resume this bearish candle on the monthly time frame. We are still middle of the month, so there's still 2 more trading weeks to see how this monthly candle is going to close. If eventually we're going to resume the move to the downside or not. Yeah, euro area is still not pretty either without the situation. Inflation increasing, the war between Ukraine and Russia, so not the best scenarios either. Yeah, guys, feel free to ask any questions if you have any, to make any comments. Yeah, so continue in here with the euro dollar. I could actually see that potential of price just start to range. Maybe eventually take the orders, maybe close to this level, then eventually to this level, then go down, then maybe go up. It could be a period of ranging. We can see how long price spent some around in this zone. Then how long did it spend around this level? Maybe we're going to see maybe price maybe ranging as well. Let's see what's going to happen on euro. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. In terms of move to the upside, as I mentioned a few times, eventually I do like this level to be looking for a possible sell, just faking out all these highs in here. I would like to see maybe price reacting somewhere from here initially, like pretending or looking like that this zone is being respected, then for eventually these highs, all these highs to be faked out, price take it and goes down. Yeah, is there any still orders somewhere around here or around these highs? Maybe you have these left shoulders that maybe there's going to be some orders at this extreme. That's a possibility as well. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen in there. Yeah, euro. I will stick with my view that I would really like to see first these lows being taken before anything, before any major move upwards. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in there. Let's go to dollar franc Swiss, and this is where maybe I'll spend a little bit more time. So yeah, this was a level that I've been mentioning. I think we even covered that zone. That is 1004. I think Trading Box even mentioned it. I know that Trading Box actually catch another beautiful sell from there. During the FOMC, I was about to place a sell limit and I didn't, so I regret it, of course. I did catch that one on the euro dollar last week, but this time I didn't place straight away this sell limit, and then after that I just let price go without me. And what I wanted to mention before, when I mentioned that kind of the price action that you can see somewhere in here is similar to what we saw on euro dollar last week. So basically this kind of price action, it's a different scale, it's different. So kind of euro showed indication days before, even week before, that the price went to go further down before it actually touched the extreme and went down. On dollar franc Swiss, kind of we see, first of all, I don't consider this is a final target for the sales. Price didn't even get close to this next level of kind of support resistance, and not even close by, somewhere in there. So I could see price even going further down from where it was. So I don't consider this as a final target. So kind of maybe in there, or maybe in there could be kind of a final target, and price never really got there. So yeah, so the bias for to look for sales, it was on, like I was looking for sales. Overall, on the higher time frame, this is a nice reaction from a good level, from within this zone in there. We did have all these highs that we faked out, so this exactly same zone could be used then as a continuation, as a zone to look for sales, and price eventually gets close to this level again. So on the bigger picture as well, you were there, look for sales, and then I think this is what I mentioned when I had that price. So I did mention last week that we had a possible zone in here aligned with this previous level of support resistance. Price did react from there quite nicely, and it moved all the way with target, which is kind of the base of this compression to the upside, and we did had this high here to fake out, so it was a good zone. And this one happened during the Asian session, so no chance to enter. And yeah, price get down. There's still no engulf to downside at this stage. So at this point, there was no still move to downside. But what happened on Wednesday during the ECB, during the FOMC day in the morning, the same way that euro-dollar broke those highs on the left side, the dollar franc Swiss broke this demand zone in here. Like on the 15th of June, around 10 something AM, during the London session, we went to the downside. I mentioned that I actually entered short in here after I saw price creating all these highs. After I saw this compression in here and this move, this strong move up, price reacting close to that extreme, and when I saw these holes being broken, especially this one as well, yeah, I entered short in there, and I target basically just the base of this. That's it. It was end of the day trade, and eventually we finally have our first major break to the downside without price touching the next level. So the next level will be here, and price never did it. So there is space at this point. When you see this engulf to the downside, there is space in here. It's basically the same thing that I mentioned last week on euro-dollar, but on euro-dollar it was a different scale. It was much bigger. It was on 1 hour. It was on 1 hour time frame, and it was a different scenario. But this is the same thing, just in different scales. So there you go. Move to downside. We do have all this compression now. Price goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Compression. We have this low in here, and we have these highs in there, right? And what we have exactly during the FOMC. So, and this is the chart that I had it. Let me just show it. I saw while I was looking at the market in that moment. Second, which one is it? Not this one. This was the euro-dollar that I kind of could see the price going there, but as I mentioned before, I never really look for the longs in there. So this is what I saw, right? I saw the engulf to the downside, and I saw the spice. And during the FOMC meeting, when the interest rate came out at 7 p.m., there was a big spike to the downside, and we broke this wall, right? This is kind of a second confirmation that price actually wants to go to the downside. And this happens exactly when the news are coming out, right? So you can have kind of information on euro-dollar. It was a few days before, or even 1 week before, that price went to go further down, and that happened. And for example, second, where was the euro-dollar? So in here, kind of, we do have this break in here, right? And price never really got close to this level, to this next demand. So we do have the information price wants to go down in there. But again, what happened during the interest rate decision during the ECB press conference? A big spike down. Price kind of shows indication that wants to go further down. We even had, as I mentioned last week, we even broke this low as well. And then then the last spike to the supply zone, and price is free to go to the downside. Right? So in these moments, you want to see indication where price wants to go next, and you want to see at the extremes of the zones, you want to look for fresh supplies or demand zones that price most likely wants still to react from, right? If everything else in here has been taken, as it has been, as you can see, kind of this supply has been taken, this one has been taken, this one has been taken. So yeah, this is the last one that is still fresh. Price went there and took it, and this is similar to what happened in the dollar franc Swiss. So we do have this engulf to downside. We do have now the spike in here. Price, as you can see, even during that session, it still comes all the way here. It still takes the orders from this origin. So basically it cleans this zone in here perfectly. And what happens afterwards is that that's why it's important to be aware of where these highs are reacting from, right? That's why that is important, because then what we have is price going exactly to the other extreme that we have in here, and it's a beautiful supply zone in there. You see this one is still fresh. We did have all these left shoulders as well. So this is kind of a beautiful Quasimodo level pattern as well. I went all the way there. It reacted exactly to the pip basically of these left shoulders, and then it moved all the way down. And then of course during the SNB interest rate decision, it was even a stronger, stronger push to the downside. But yeah, so on the higher time frame, it's possible to see how nicely price reacted from this level. I know that Trading Box did catch that short. I didn't. It was another beautiful entry from his side. Beautiful. So even if you place your stop loss in there, yeah, so even with a 17 pip stop loss, something like that, you could have had an amazing and huge trade from there. As you can see, price breaks that low, that demand that I mentioned. There's still space until the next demand zone, and this is exactly what you want to look for. You want to see those breaks of the lower time frame structure in there with still space on towards the next zone, right? The next zone, it will be this demand zone in here. And there you go. Price breaks breaks in here, comes up, still breaks this low. We cannot see it now in this time frame, but it breaks it as I just mentioned before. Spikes there. Beautiful reaction from the origin of the move, and price 10 was going down. So see the comparisons between what I just mentioned now and on euro dollar from my previous video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and it's going to help you a lot to understand exactly how to trade these big news events, right? Maybe something similar could be looking for this kind of price action around NFPs days or something like that. Even though NFPs nowadays doesn't have that much impact as it has been in the past, because the main focus has been on inflation. So yeah, but you can find those kind of patterns, see what price does before even the news comes out, like find that zone in there, and find that spike during the news. Wait, again, just exactly similar to what happened during the ECB press conference. So this big spike happened during when the interest rate comes out, and then the press conference began. It began around this level, right? 735. We are on dollar franc Swiss, right? Yeah, around here is when kind of the press conference start, and then there you go. You have those three moments: when the interest rate came out, when the press conference starts, and when the Q&A then starts, right? And then you have that momentum to the other side. Yeah, big mistake from my side for not taking the short. But yeah, the analysis was there. It is what it is. I didn't eventually catch this short, and then I just start for small scalps on pound dollar to the upside after the news. Hi Vizzy, thank you. Welcome back to the live stream. Thank you so much for your comments. I did read your other comments on my posts last night. At least last night for me. I don't know exactly where you are based from. So yeah, you made me smile with your comments. I appreciate that. And yeah, welcome. And I'm glad that you are learning and that I can help in any way your trading journey. Yeah, I do trade during the news. So I stopped kind of placing just sell limit orders at around the extremes. That actually I did do that actually last week on during the ECB press conference, and that's why I catch the short on the euro, and I didn't do that now on this setup on dollar franc Swiss that I was just talking about, and that's why I didn't really catch this short, even though maybe on the lower time frame we kind of still had the opportunity to kind of look for that trade, because we did kind of leave this supply kind of in here, so there is a possibility of even place the sell limit just in here, and this could be a little bit more with confirmation, but I just didn't trade it actually. I was following it and I just didn't trade it in this case, but yes, I can do trade. I trade the news. I don't trade exactly kind of when the interest rate decision is made, because usually I don't see price going straight into one direction in that moment. I wait to see what information or clues I can gather from this move. In this case, as I mentioned, I saw the break to the downside that happened in here, and that kind of pushed more to the confirmation that I already saw this break in here of these lows. And yeah, that's why if I see still as a clean supply level, like it was in there on dollar franc Swiss, and it was last week, for example, on euro dollar. In this case, yes, and then I can trade the news more when, in this case, ECB press conference or FOMCs and so on, more when they start the press conference and not exactly when the interest rate comes out. That's usually what I look for. And yeah. This was dollar franc Swiss. So by looking at it, yeah, big strong to move to downside. Now we reacted from this demand zone. There was actually a really nice trade to be taken in here yesterday. But yeah, personally, I can see now dollar franc Swiss going more to the downside, and at least maybe feeling this price that's still in here, at least reacting now from this previous level of support resistance, even though this zone looks like it has been touched already. So as I mentioned before, I kind of like maybe this one instead for possible longs, but let's see. For now we are reacting from this demand that was left behind as well, as you can see in here. So basically you have this big impulse to the upside, then you have this price pausing in here, and from this level price is respecting this level in here. So in the future this is actually a good zone to look for a target after the break of below these lows. And in this case it was this demand, nice reaction. So yeah, this could have been one first target if you wanted to, and in the end I think I mentioned a little bit this level, but I can see how this compressed, and that's why kind of I'll be looking a little bit more further down, maybe for the longs now. I'll be looking maybe for longs in here, kind of price had reacted from there already. I don't know if there's something in here still around these lows. Let me just see on the bigger time frame. Yeah, we do have this demand zone in here, but for me we have so many lows already here that I just want them to be taken if price gets close to that level. Yeah, we may have this demand in here, but eventually I do like this level. I've mentioned that even when price was somewhere in here. I've been mentioning that for almost a month now, that I would like price to go all the way there. And I just noticed now today's 18th of June, and actually that was when I did my first live stream. So I've been doing live streams for 1 month now. I started on the 18th of May, I think. So yeah, it has been a challenge, but I'm enjoying it, and I hope you guys get any benefits from it as well. So yeah. So dollar franc Swiss, we did break this high now. Maybe next zone could be somewhere around here. Should we expect price to go all the way up in here? It depends. How much correlated now are going to be between dollar franc Swiss and dollar index, in the sense that if dollar index does actually respect that supply where it's reacting from, maybe you can see that helping dollar franc Swiss to go further down. But I could see some uncorrelated moves within those pairs. The same way that dollar franc Swiss had kind of his own life while doing this, comparing with dollar index. I could see maybe dollar index just doing whatever it needs to do until it eventually reach all these levels to the downside, even if in this case dollar index is going to break that supply and go higher. So yeah. So these levels, let's see, we do have kind of still this demand in here. It's going to be interesting. Is price ready to completely regain all these move to downside? Let's see, we do have this level in here. Compressed, price is respecting this supply zone. Yeah, again, engulfed to the upside without touching. That's why then it was a good zone to look for longs in here. Yeah, let's see how the market's going to open as well. So yeah, dollar index, dollar franc Swiss, personally I'm expecting price to eventually to continue down, even though be cautious because we are indeed respecting this demand in here. If you take a look at pound now, pound, it's another one, big moves during this week. Thank you. Thank you, Costadina. Thank you for following, for being here as well, and for all your support. So dollar, pound dollar, it was again another master trade that trading box catched. It actually catched this low. It was on Tuesday, and it was just after I finished my live stream. I did mention, and I covered during that live stream exactly this level in here, and it took advantage of it. I didn't, because I don't really trade with limit orders like he does, and it was just a quick reaction from there, and price just spiked it, as you can see. So you can take a look at my previous live stream on Tuesday, and as you can see, this was, I'm going to show a chart that on pound dollar, a prediction that I did on pound dollar quite a few, when price was maybe in here, so more than 1 month ago, and it was exactly this, basically what price just did. So this was the chart, and this was my thought process of what I was looking for on pound dollar, right? So I was aware of this key M zone in here, right? Price indeed reacted from there, not even exactly the way I drew it. Price actually did reacted from here, and it didn't go as low as this. I did pay attention to this low that was in there, and I noticed that most likely it was a good zone for price to react from, because this size never really touched that, and that's exactly what price did. So price basically reacted from this KM, and it went all the way there, all the way to this previous level of support resistance. This I never took the orders, and it was a good zone to do it. And by doing that, as I mentioned maybe last week, even more on Aussie, for me this kind of is already an engulf to the upside, because we do break this high, even though then we just reacted immediately from an important level of structure. And this is how price moves, right? Price breaks highs and then reacts and then eventually reacts from something important as well, maybe on the lower time frame, or just a zone from the opposite side. But that also works as an engulf for the future, right? So that's why then we kind of are playing this chessboard with the market, this puzzle, building up this puzzle. We did break this high. Doesn't mean that price is just going to react from here and go shoot to the moon. It just means that most likely price will go retrace, collect some orders, because this one was not exactly in here it was not exactly the finals target for this move to downside, because we had all that low in there, we did have all these lows in here, so that previous level of support in there. We have this fake out during COVID, and we have this week, this beautiful week. As you can see, I already had this on marked and drawn when I did this prediction back in, I don't know, April, beginning of May. And this is exactly where kind of price eventually come and react from. Exactly from here. So this was kind of my final target for this move to the downside. So yeah, price did react from there. We have this kind of price action, and let's see. So this was my prediction on pound. And now if you take a look at what's going on. So this is exactly where price reacted from, and there you go, it reacted from there. We did fake out this low, because this one never really got close to this zone, right? This lows in here, and indeed we did react just from the base of this week that you can see in here. There you go. But yeah, I did mention this level a little bit more in detail last Tuesday. So what we have now in here, we have all this price. This can be an important zone to hold price down, So let's see as well. Let's see if price now eventually is going to start moving to the upside. During the interest rate decision of the Bank of England last Thursday, we did bounce and bounce from this level. So up and down, up and down, up and down quite a few times. As you can see in here, price went up, down, taking out the orders from this demand zone. And yeah, so let's see now what is going to happen. Price is now reacting from the base of this kind of big demand in here on the higher time frame, from the top of it. Is this a final move to the upside? For me, this high is still not really reacting from the extreme, so I could see price still going a little bit higher, even though we do have this weekend here. But I could see price going a little bit higher to feel actually this, at least this zone in here. Didn't even touch this low either. So yeah, maybe it's demand zone in here as well, and we kind of have this zone a little bit underneath here. Yeah, I just have maybe one problem with the way price moves so fast from here. I would prefer to actually have seen something different that maybe could push price a little bit further down, like with a proper demand in there for the future for price to use it. And I don't really see it, so it's going to be tricky to even look for longs in here, at least for me. Maybe just something underneath this low. For sure underneath this double low can be there's already maybe enough liquidity to push price to the upside just after the break of this, if eventually price wants indeed to go all the way down here. So yeah, let's see what the pound as well is going to do. There's maybe still this zone in here to look for. As I mentioned quite a few times, I still like this level all the way here. The supply was left behind. I don't know how big of a reaction you're going to have in here in the future. Just maybe just basically reacting from there, retest this previous level of resistance that may now become support, and price just goes. Okay, so don't expect anymore maybe this move to push price all the way to the downside. So be cautious of that. But either way, I will still be looking for a possible selling there when price gets there. Also, it's going to depend where eventually these lows react from, right? So I have no clue where this low during COVID reacted from on the left side. I have no data back there. It was like maybe it was the first time that price was here. I have no clue. Even on the monthly, if I take a look at monthly, this is 1993. I have no clue where this one is reacting from, which makes it a little bit harder to analyze. Yeah, so the base of it has been reacted from. Any chance if price comes all the way here, maybe to look for longs again in there. But what I would like to say is that I'm satisfied already with where pound reacted from in here. So kind of from now I could actually see maybe pound going higher. For example, I was not satisfied with pound making like the last lower low of this move to downside being here, because for me price still wanted to go here, and now that it's reacted from there, I'm kind of satisfied with it. So I could maybe start seeing the possibility of actually pound shooting and going higher, and eventually maybe going all the way back to this level. Let's see if that happens. We do have kind of maybe this left shoulder that can be used somewhere in here for the future, or maybe even take now this daily wick that we see in here. Maybe, yeah, maybe use now this double low, maybe still have this demand zone, and maybe that's a zone that price can easily kind of create some kind of scenario like this. Some compression, pretend that is being respected, whatever. Kind of react somewhere from here, eventually break some high just before actually does that fake out and go higher, take that and maybe push to the upside. Maybe this could be an option to look for a long, especially if you do still have this space in here. So yeah, let's see how pound is going to behave. We do have this Monday twist in this time frame, 4-hour time frame. It is kind of still fresh, and we have this double already being created in here. This can work as well, kind of as a TM zone with this wick in here. Maybe something like this. Let's see. If I start seeing, for example, this one was a nice TM in there. In here, 1 second. Yeah, in here. If I do start seeing too many lows being close to each other, eventually I'll just want to see the fake out happening, and then maybe possible move to the upside. So yeah, let's see how it's going to happen on pound. I don't know how strong the correlation is going to be as well with dollar index, so I'm not going to put that much weight on it. For example, if dollar index is about to actually respect that supply and go down, maybe that can help pound to go a little bit higher, but I'm not going to put so much weight on it. I'll put more weight on euro dollar than on the pound. So yeah, let's see. Let's take a look at Aussie dollar now. So Aussie dollar, and guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And even if you are watching it as a recording, I'll try to get back to you and reply it during the next live stream. So Aussie dollar. A few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, when price was somewhere in here, I did make that prediction of that I wanted to see that we already had the indication that price wanted to go below this low, and there was those two scenarios, right, that I mentioned. I think there was a scenario where price could come down, respect this level and go higher from here, because I see even more than on pound, I see this one as an engulf to the upside. It doesn't mean that it's going to be from this low, but I do see this move as an engulf to the upside, because while on pound at least we are reacting from that previous low, here on Aussie dollar we are not even reacting from this zone, and much less from here. So I still see space upwards. And the second scenario that I mentioned, it was, if we do not react from here and go higher, the other option it will be actually to react from here, find the next level of support resistance, and actually push price to the downside, and we are going to have that deep retracement that we didn't have during all this move to the upside, right? So we didn't ever moved like this. So yeah. So we did had now this strong move to the downside, and yeah, there you go. Price did reacted now from this base in here, from the origin of the move, beautiful reaction from there, and after that price did move upwards. Now after that we broke already kind of, for me this is kind of an engulf as well. Price did went higher. Just delete these ones. Price did broke to the upside in here. Yep, it did. Price went higher from there. For me, kind of can work a little bit as an engulf, or we are reacting straight away from this level. Either way, for me is an engulf. Let's see from where to. Yeah, a little bit similar to what is going on dollar index and on euro dollar. Basically, we did react from these lows, and now we are basically reacting from this demand close to these lows in here. So in this case, it's a little bit more similar what's going on dollar index and euro dollar. If dollar index is about to break that supply, most likely we are going to see maybe a further move to downside on Aussie. The only concern that I have as well is on the bigger picture. For me, whatever price is reacting from basically this low in here, from here, I don't really like anything in here, so I kind of could see price going a little bit further down and eventually taking this low and coming a little bit farther down, and yes, after this I would be a little bit happier, or it would make more sense to me that actually price would react and have some bounce to the upside as a deeper retrace to the upside, bigger shift after the break of those lows, maybe reacting from there and going upwards. I don't know if there's anything in here in the middle, just underneath this low closer by, that could be that zone for price to go higher, but I do like this previous level of support resistance. We do have this nicely demand in there, and these lows never took the orders from there. So that would be a zone that I would prefer than this level in here. So that's one of the things that it's like, I would kind of be cautious about it, and that's why I like to, for example, as I mentioned, we do have this engulf to the upside in there, right? We do break this high. This high never really reacted from anything on the way down, so this for me is an engulf up. However, it doesn't mean that price will react or go higher after just a retest of this low. Okay, because if the move to the downside is still actually to push price towards this next level of support resistance and to touch actually this high, it looks like it's important. So maybe this engulf is just going to work after price actually reacts from here, and then yeah, then maybe you're going to have that major reversal to the upside and price can go higher and maybe finally fill this price that now this high open it. So it's not as straightforward as that, right? And when you see one high being broken, doesn't mean that price will just respect the next low and go higher, or that we are going to have that just small breakout, like a breakout of a high, retest the low and go higher. Right? It's a little bit more, there's more to it than just looking at breaking highs, retest the lows and move on. That's why it's important to be aware of where the lows are reacting from. You need to start being confident with the analysis that you do, with the levels that you look for, and what it makes sense to you. Maybe for you it makes sense that actually price, it's nice to where it's reacting from. So in that sense, yeah, maybe you can actually start looking for longs and pushing price as maybe a final target. If you are that kind of trader, that it's okay holding trades for that long, final target somewhere in here. If you are just looking for day trade setups, yeah, you can definitely look for longs within this level. So this was a zone that was still fresh in there. We basically fake out this small demand zone in there with this spike, and then there you go. Aside from that, there's maybe something here. Maybe we are respecting now this demand zone in there. Let's see if price breaks this level to the upside or not, or if it respects it and it continues to go down. Let's see what Aussie is going to do in this scenario. Just do this. Okay, this running here at all. So yeah. Yeah. Personally, yeah, I do like this level in here. Actually, let me just see a little bit on the lower time frame in here. What do we have? Delete this one. This was done a long time ago, and this is the low that I want to look for. Yep, we did respected it. I can delete this. Yeah, so we do have kind of this demand zone in here that could be a good zone to look for. Maybe first reaction from here. Damn it, wrong button, sorry. This is how I look at it. We do have this zone in here. We cannot have this demand zone. Can I go lower? Yes, I think I can go lower to 1 hour. And for me, this is already in engulf down. So this is exactly kind of the setup that I like to see. You can see how price holds this line for so long, and just before it goes and fake outs it. And this could be a good zone for price to react from here and go higher. But in the future, when eventually price comes all the way back, I'm actually looking for the zone below this engulfing here, which is this zone somewhere in here, aligned with this previous level of support resistance. And we do have kind of a decision point in there, or eventually this demand zone in here. So this is actually what I look for. I look for this low that breaks this, all these lows in here, and then just push to the upside. So this low should have come a little bit farther down, but it doesn't. It kind of opens the space, opens the door for price to go here in the future. So yeah, that's exactly, eventually after price comes all the way down, that's where I'll be looking for as a zone to look for entries. So that's exactly the type of price action of the zones that I look for, and that eventually I look for the targets. Price at the moment is kind of reacting from this line. We already broke this low, kind of reacting from this level in here. For me, all this looks compressed. That's why I don't really like anything in here. And I would actually prefer to see price breaking this major low. This is the low that you can see on the daily or weekly time frame. But this is the major low that you can see, which is always a good low to look for, attract buyers into it. And then you just need to wait for it to be broken and maybe look for possible longs in there. So this is Aussie. That's a level that I'll be looking for in the future. So we'll see what is going to happen. You can see price reacting from this one now. Let's see. We already have this double low. So I don't really like to trade kind of triple lows, because it's already too many lows in here, and I start waiting for the fake out to happen. Any other Forex pair that you guys like to see? So dollar yen. I see this one as an engulf. Can you see how this small wick broke this zone? This for me is an engulf down. Price now is respecting this high in here. We do have all this compression to the upside. I don't know if should we have a proper engulf down on the approach. Not sure. Maybe after we see this low being broken, maybe you're going to see price, if eventually price comes all the way down, if we do break this low, maybe we're going to then have that retrace. There's still orders above this size, so this could be an option. And I think this and I think that this line that I just have in here, so this could be one option. After the break of this low, we have this compression. Eventually price wants to fill to the other edge of the compression, and it could go all the way back here and then go down. This high reacted from this extreme, this kind of left shoulder in here, quite nicely. But something where this one also is reacting to, now that we just left this small supply in there, is, one second, this is taking second, guys. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you are enjoying this this live stream, if you find it useful. If you'd like me to change anything, let me know also. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, so yeah, what I wanted to show is that actually that line that I have in there, I think is aligned with the previous high that we just broke, which can kind of work and now as a zone to look for sales. In the end, I'm still not happy, or I still see a little bit of a better zone, a little bit above it, somewhere in here, similar to the dollar index. I cannot go into the war time frame where this price is, because this is back in 1998, so it's way too it's way too low. It's way far behind. Wait 1 second. I think I can go there on the daily, but that's it. Not much more than that. And similar to dollar index, I actually like the zone above this week. So this is one of my favorite zones to look for big reversals when you have these major higher time frame weeks and we have kind of a fresh supply in there. This is one of my favorite zones, usually aligned a little bit with the base of this move. So this becomes a really nice zone to look for. Price now I think is reacting from here. We do have still this supply zone in there. However, we have all these highs, so eventually seeing these highs being taken could be something natural to happen. And I really like this level. So 139, 116, something like that, somewhere in there. It looks nice to me. And then in the end, I still like this level as well. This is the other extreme. Yeah, this level in here, this supply zone just above this level once more time. We have this left shoulder as well. And the base of these left shoulders as well. So this level could be quite interesting as well. 146 could be quite interesting as well. But that, of course, this is a super higher time frame. I have no clue when price is going to get there. Eventually, when it gets there, it's a zone that I'll be looking for. But yeah, I wouldn't. Until now, I don't really think that this is the final higher high on dollar yen, especially with the Bank of Japan just continue to carry on doing whatever it's doing, while all the other central banks are taking measures to face the inflation. Inflation is not really a problem at the moment in Japan, but the weakness on the yen, it is a problem. So yeah, so this level, it's actually a zone that I would look for. Maybe somewhere in there for a possible reaction as well. But this level itself is already a nice zone after the fake out of this high. It's already a nice zone to maybe look for possible sells. And that's basically the scenario that I was trying to look for. Where did this low reacted from? Close to this neck, to these previous levels of resistance, but not exactly there. And as I mentioned before on the lower super lower time frame, kind of looks like an engulf to the downside. They did break this demand, even for a 1 pip or something like that. So yeah, something to be paying attention to. So yeah, let me actually just draw some low in here. Maybe a zone 2 for look for a possible engulf to downside that may open the door for price to just go and open the door all the way back to the downside. Basically, this spike during the news cleaned this demand zone and makes it weaker. So there's a possibility. If actually price breaks this level, this next demand in here, there's a possibility that price wants to fill all this space once more. And even further down, because for me this is already actually an engulf down. So let's see how exactly dollar yen is going to behave. Somewhere in there. So yeah, let's see how it's going to happen. Next, what else? Dollar CAD, we just broke this high. So yep, this high, price came all the way down. It respected this zone in here that you kind of mentioned a few weeks ago, or last week or something like that. A few weeks ago maybe we had this KM, we had this demand, and then last thing it will be the KM underneath this demand. Price reacted just from the KM. Price should complete it to the upside, and we did broke this high for a couple of pips, and then price just moved to the downside. What's next on dollar CAD? That's a good question. Personally, I saw this demand, this supply zone, which was reacted from this high. So now kind of this has been taken. Not sure if there's anything else somewhere in here. I can see it almost all this compressed. We have this double top, this big spike. maybe this supply zone above this week, and eventually I could see price even going higher and higher and higher. Yeah, I could see maybe price. I could see strength on CAD for the near term. CAD has been enjoying this strong move ups, move downs, move up, move down, as you can see, like all these deep retracements up and down. So it's not exactly just in a straight move to the upside. Actually going up and down, up and down, up and down, but we are indeed creating higher highs. In this case, we just respected this low from here. So yeah. So Izzy is saying that she has moved from scalping to swinging. So what are the tips to holding a trade? Emotions or emotions are taking a toll on you. So how long are you trying to hold the trades for? Like, is it days, is it weeks, or what exactly the duration of your trades that you are trying to trade? Because in terms of emotions, of course, it can be tricky if you're taking a trade and eventually price starts ranging and not going kind of moving in the direction that you want for your target. That could be an issue in terms of how to deal with those moves up and down, up and down, up and down, and still stick with the trade. For example, if you are looking for maybe just trading on a higher time frame, just looking for those supply demand zones on or support and resistance on a higher time frame, let's just say like from the daily or weekly, and then maybe fine tune your entry on the 1 hour or 4 hours, 1 hour time frame. Would you consider, for example, this possible long from this dollar CAD, this zone in here on dollar CAD all the way to the upside as a swing trade? It could be. I could kind of consider it because this is a major. It's a daily trade on the daily time frame. Even though it was quite quick, it was just basically in a week price completed the move, but it could kind of do the opposite. Imagine that kind of you are going on from here, and all of a sudden you spend all these weeks with price ranging in between. So yeah, I'll need a little bit more details from your side in order to actually be able to help you that. But yeah, I don't know how, if like in scalping in the past, maybe you would like to just be in and out without being exposed to the market that long. It's a completely different mindset. I can see some traders that never in their lives they will be able to hold trades for that long, and I found some other traders that are the complete opposite, that it will be impossible to be trading in and out because it will be too much stress for them. So two complete different personalities of traders. There's ways to make money with both of them. You just need to understand which one suits you best. And yeah, in terms of swing trading, again, it depends if it is a couple of days or a couple of weeks. If it is kind of an investment perspective, if you actually kind of are looking for build up kind of a portfolio with a few and hold some positions for the next months and maybe years. Maybe, for example, after we have this, we're already in this bearish market, but maybe eventually when you see that those beginning of possible reversals, maybe, I don't know, in 3 months time or 6 months time, I don't know. I don't think we are nowhere near the lows of this bearish market. I think everything's going to get way worse than eventually get better, and you're going to see that on the market as well. Yeah, that aspect, that could be a good timing to maybe look for that different time of investment, to actually hold it for quite a few months or years to come, and try to get then try to to enter close to the lows on the or for the next bull market. Yeah, it depends on the days, how long they actually hold the trades. Do you trade your stop? Do you try to manage your trade differently? Like, there are quite a few questions or scenarios that we could think of. Do you partial close and then you just let the rest run? Do you try to play safe? Like, it depends. Yeah, it's going to depend always. So yeah, definitely I'll need to go a little bit more into detail with you, Vizzy, to understand exactly what are your struggles, especially with the emotional part of it. So yeah, was it because of the time? Okay, it's just holding a day. My entries are from 1 hour and 4 hours. Thanks so much. I've been, yeah, yeah, good. If you have more questions even about my strategies, just feel free to ask. So your entries are from 1 hour and 4 hours, and holding like a day. Yeah, yeah, a day, a couple of days. What's the struggle in there then? So, like, even going to bed with the position open, like not trusting your own targets or analysis that price actually wants to go to the other side, kind of go to your target, feeling insecure maybe with your entry, or moving your stop loss too early to break even, or the way you trade your stop, or even if you trade your stop. Yeah, there's quite a few things that we could think of, or maybe some strategies that you could kind of implement to help you and to make you feel more comfortable holding those trades and to trade in that time frame. Like, do you feel the tendency to always try to check the charts, or to at least the price where it is or where it isn't? So yeah. And then, are you waiting even for your entries? Are you waiting for the best zones? Are you rushing a little bit? Do you have kind of FOMO because you're trading in a higher time frame, like maybe afraid that price is going away without you, and you are missing that you'll be missing the big move? So you're entering too early, or the opposite, entering too late. So yeah, there are a few things that you could look at. So yeah, so this is the arcade. We did break this level in here. We are kind of still within this supply zone, but we did break the high. So we did break it. So went a little bit above. Some people say that it's not a close. It didn't close above the other high, so it's maybe not as important of a break of a high. For me, any small engulf to the upside or downside, it's an information that price is giving us. Doesn't mean, again, that price is just going to shoot to the moon again. We did break this low on the way up, so it's kind of interesting. But we just reacted straight away from this demand zone in here. I think you could see it on 1 hour time frame. You can see this 1 hour or maybe 4 hours. Which time frame was it? Yeah, so on 4 hour you can see how this week kind of was still fresh. Price just reacted from there and continued to the upside. This was during the Fed. Yeah, this supply zone was still kind of fresh and price just ignored it. So aligned with this zone could be a good zone to maybe for entries in the future. Something like that. Again, let's see. We do have this low in here. So let's see. Let's see how price now, if it respects this demand zone or not, or if it breaks and respects it. If it does break this demand zone, maybe I could see the scenario of price eventually filling at least until here, or even somewhere in here. So kind of we may have this scenario to play with. Yeah, this level can be considered as a target. It was a nice zone in there. There's maybe a little bit, there could be a possibility of a little bit going lower, but this for me is a valid target for these sales. So everything is okay with that. Yeah, so let's see as well on CAD how we are going to how the market's going to open and what's going to happen in here. So yeah, it has been already a long stream. Yeah, the importance of trusting your analysis, right? That's super important. Otherwise, you're going to always be second guessing yourself, especially if you indeed are trading in a bigger time frame and you need actually to hold your trades longer, right? Because if you don't, you are going to easily second guessing even when you are within the trade, and then most likely maybe you are making decisions that are not in your beneficial and actually are against you. Regardless of what it is, if it is just closing the trade earlier, if it is moving stop loss, if it is whatever it is, right? Sometimes you are our worst enemies when we are even with the trade open. Maybe sometimes you could, if it would be better if you actually didn't do anything at all and just let the trade play out instead of us trying to actually actively manage the trade. So what you may need to do is actually have proper rules of managing your own trades when you enter. Know exactly when you should do whatever you need to do, either close profits or partial profits, move your stop loss to break even or not, grab your stop, and so on and so forth. For example, another thing that in a good side, it could be to even look for zones to scale into the trade, like even open more trades into the direction that you initially want to. Since you are trading in a higher time frame, maybe sometimes you could actually, for example, if you take a look at this dollar card, if by any chance it did manage to open, to get in close to these lows, as price is kind of breaking new highs or something like that, maybe you're going to try to look for new opportunities to adding to the longs until whatever target that you think price is going to. If it is this level or whatever, if it is kind of the retest of this highs, try to find those opportunities. As soon as you break these highs, maybe try to look for that opportunity to continue to go long. That's another creative way of looking, and maybe with this way of trying to scale into the trades or to add more entries, it's more of a positive way, in the abundance way, like to look for more wins instead of just being afraid of losing the trade that you are in. So yeah, guys, it has been already a big long day. First of all, I would actually like to thank you, Costadina, for the donation. So if you, by any chance, if you feel that you are gaining any value from the live stream and you would like to help the channel to grow, yeah, there is a link in the description below where you can donate or tip whatever amount you want to. You're not obligated to it. It's just if you are taking any beneficial from it, and eventually, if one day you want to give back, yeah, you can do it. There's that option in there. You can find it in the description below. So yeah, if by any chance I help you to avoid a losing trade, you can tip me that same amount that you lose the trade. I'm joking, guys. But yeah, if you do want to support the channel and everything that I will try to do more and more, there's a way to do it. So it's in the description below. You'll find it there, the link. Aside from that, it has already been almost how long? 1 hour and 45. Yeah, it's been already a long stream. I'm going to have some lunch now. I'm actually starving. Just looking at Bitcoin. There you go. Finally, I mean, the 20k level has been broken. I mentioned the other day, actually yesterday, I was talking with some people that I mentioned. So this move is interesting, like on Bitcoin. Let me just go to the war time frame. So in order to kind of for this 20k levels to hold, or not even this 20k, let's just think about this price action in here, right? So we do have this interesting price action in here, that price goes up and it shoots to the and shoots higher. But what I would like to see is, in order for this was actually to hold price, so it basically broke this wall. So kind of, if you want to think about in terms of liquidity, we are starting already to have some kind of liquidity being collected as soon as we have walls being broken, and then we kind of have these highs being broken. But for me, this is the high that mattered to me, this one in here. And in this case, we actually never really broke it. So I would have liked to see kind of price respecting this zone in here first, right? If you take a look at what I mentioned before on euro dollar, of the possible long of, and even on the Nasdaq when I mentioned it, it's kind of this demand in the middle, kind of to respect price, and that price actually create a new higher high. And in this case, yes, in this case I would give a little bit more power to this now demand that we actually left close to the lows and that is still fresh. So that's basically what I would have liked to see. Instead, what Bitcoin did in here, it was actually, we did have this strong move to the upside from here during the news. We did respect these lows, and price, instead of kind of doing this and maybe then in the future doing this, price just start slowly and slowly and slowly going down and down and down, not breaking any highs. We have this zone in here, that price holds it, so this side never break it, this one never break it, and we indeed left this supply behind. So price could even fake out and touch the supply and still go down, but not even that. So price was just starting to respect the next supply zones, going down, and when we see price already kind of reacting in such a weakness way, like around these lows, and these lows, I'm not really expecting these guys in here, these buyers in here, to manage to push price to the upside. I'm indeed waiting for the opposite. I'm expecting the break to the downside, because we can see that the sellers are still in control, and that's basically what I was expecting and what I said yesterday. There you go, it did happen. Now another strong move down during the weekend. Are we going to have another crazy weekend to the downside? We'll see on crypto. Where we are now, thank you, Easy. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice weekend and enjoy it. And yeah, thank you for the support. And yeah, I'll be happy if you just continue to attend the live streams, and if you share it as well with whoever needs that you think is going to get any beneficials from watching the stream. So yeah, so we are indeed now reacting finally from this high back in 2017. There is still, because of what is going on in the world and everything else, and I definitely don't see that we are nowhere near the bottom on the market, even in the indices, for example. And crypto and Bitcoin in particular and Ethereum has been trading so correlated with indices during this year. That's why for me, there's no chance that this is still the low. I've been saying to quite a few people, yeah, I'm waiting, I'm still waiting to start looking for it. I've been bearish since the beginning of the year, basically since we kind of had the break of this low, or even the break of this one. So yeah, so aside from that, and another thing that I mentioned before is, before even looking for that major turn to the upside, I want to see weakness on price, right? I want to see something like this happening. Like, I want to see this compression happening. I don't think that price will just reverse in a V shape. I think price will eventually starting to compress, and maybe to go higher, start to play around with those emotions of FOMO and so on, creating new lows. Maybe eventually you are going to create a new higher high, and then yes, and then finally we may have that move to the upside. Not sure where the level is going to be. I do like this level around here, almost 12,000. We have all this compression, we have this demand. If price eventually is going to break this zone, this kind of compression, let's see. So far we kind of are reacting now from that level. I don't even need to have this rectangle in here. But yeah, price is indeed reacting from this previous high here, so perfectly. But I can see definitely more move to the downside. The same way that price could just react from here and come all the way up now, and maybe react from this 25k level or even this 30k level again, and then continue to downside. Even if price goes up from here, I'm still not bullish. Like, manage your expectations of your targets. And Ethereum as well. Ethereum, it was a little bit more clear now where it was. And second, for our time frame, daily. Yep, Ethereum, for example, it already completely ignored the high back in 2017, and Ethereum, I do see this compression, and I would like to see just this compression be broken and at least going all the way to this break below this walls. I do have these spikes in these gaps in here. They're not real. It's just from this exchange that I'm using. But yeah, this demand zone in here around 750. I mentioned a few times that would be kind of a good zone for maybe price to start looking for any move to the upside. I could even see price breaking these lows, not even going back to the 750 level, to this next zone in here. Just break these lows and then reverse it immediately from there. Just leave this zone for the future. Yeah, just reverse it, maybe down. Yes, now we are going to have a little bit of a bigger retrace to the upside on Ethereum, maybe react from there, maybe this level 1430. I think that's a really nice supply zone that is in there, aligned with this previous high. So what it didn't work as a long, it can work as a short. And yeah, just react from there. Oh, that's too much already. Yeah, just react from there, and then eventually goes down, react from here, and it can go higher. So yeah, let's see. But let's see what's going to happen on the crypto space as well. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch the live stream. Actually, comment below if you managed to watch it all until the end, so at least I know who are the superheroes that actually managed to stay until the end on and watch the stream. Next one is going to be Tuesday. Tuesday is more of an educational content, so if you have any analysis for me to look at, share your chart with me, and I will be giving you my feedback on that. So wishing everyone a great weekend. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Obrigado.